Our first of two keynotes. We're honored to have two state secretaries here with us today. So you can see that CCUS in the Netherlands and in Norway is top priority, I should say, or I would say. Please welcome the State Secretary at the Norwegian Ministry of Petroleum and Energy, Mr. Amund.
Thank you, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the invitation to give a Norwegian perspective on CCUS. It's great to be here in the Netherlands, and it's good to finally be able to meet in person. So we have a long-standing and long-lasting relationship, cooperation with the Netherlands on CCS, both bilaterally and within the North Sea Basin Task Force. The Netherlands is a close and valued partner to Norway. During the state visit from the Netherlands to Norway last autumn, our respective ministers signed an MOU on future cooperation on CCS, aiming at a bilateral agreement between the Netherlands and Norway on import-export of CO2 sharing of knowledge and expertise. A bilateral agreement is required by the London Protocol to enable transboundary transport of CO2 for storage under the seabed on the Norwegian continental shelf. We are at the stage where we carefully consider the topics such bilateral agreements should entail based on existing international law and EU regulatory framework. I would also like to stress the importance of close cooperation with the Netherlands to find a solution within international law to make transboundary transport of CO2 for offshore storage possible within the context of the London Protocol, where we succeeded in 2019. We're also in the early phase of discussing bilateral agreements with other countries in the region. CCS represents one important pathway towards reaching ambitious climate targets in Europe and globally. According to the IPCC, it will be twice as expensive to reach climate neutrality without CCS. For hard-to-abate industries, there are few viable alternatives. Norway has more than 25 years of experience with CCS and safe storage of CO2 under the seabed from the petroleum fields Sleipner and Snøhvit. We know how to store CO2 safely and permanently. The Norwegian CCS strategy encompasses R&D, the Technology Center Mongstad for testing, and full-scale demo, the Longship project, where the state has provided significant funds for CCS activities. The National R&D Program for CCS, CLIMIT, was initiated in 2005 and has supported a wide variety of CCS projects through the years. The state owns TCM, the world's most advanced and flexible test arena for CO2 capture technologies, together with Equinor, Shell, and Total. It was launched in 2012 and celebrated 10 years of operation last month. In addition, the Norwegian CCS Research Center, NCCS, for environmental friendly energy research, aims to fast-track CCS by working closely with the industry on research that address major barriers for CCS to happen in Norway, Europe, and the world. The full-scale Longship project has the potential to kickstart significant deployment of CCS globally and to create a market for CCS built on substantial CO2 offshore storage experience. The first phase of the project consists of CO2 capture at a cement factory and a waste incineration facility in Norway with an integrated transport and storage solution. The carbon capture project at the waste incineration plant has received financing from 3 different commercial actors this spring. This is a positive sign regarding a growing market interest for CCS. The CO2 will be captured, liquefied, and collected by ships before further transport to an intermediate storage facility in Øygarden on the western coast of Norway. From there, it will be pumped through pipes to the Norwegian continental shelf, where it will be stored safely, 2,600 meters below the seabed. The storage site is developed with spare capacity to receive CO2 on a commercial basis, hopefully creating opportunities for European capture projects. The project's main contributions to the development of CCS are to demonstrate that a full value chain that enables commercial storage can be developed at a European level. The project provides considerable learning opportunities and may result in cost reduction for the next project. So Norway actively shares this knowledge with other projects, academia, and relevant stakeholders. When operational, the storage site can take CO2 from other European countries already in 2024. So far, we've registered significant interest in the Longship project from other countries around the North Sea. Northern Lights hopes to sign its first commercial agreement in 2022. The EU Innovation Fund's decision for 4 capture projects that last year promises well for CCS in Europe. So Northern Lights is a European project of common interest, a PCI. Northern Lights is the transport and storage part of the Longship project, and it's a commercial CO2 cross-border network that connects European carbon capture initiatives with permanent carbon storage infrastructure at the Norwegian continental shelf. PCI project benefit from simplified permitting, and earlier this year, Northern Lights received funding from the Connecting Europe facility for a study of phase 2 of the project. Northern Lights project promoters are located in 7 European countries, including in the Netherlands. The construction of infrastructure and facilities is well underway. Specially designed ships will transport CO2 from emission sources in Norway and Europe. An offshore receiving terminal is being built in the Øygarden municipality and will be connected to pipelines wells that are under the seabed. The first development phase of Northern Lights will be completed by mid-2024, establishing infrastructure to store 1.5 million tons of CO2 per year. As demand for industrial sectors in Europe grows, Northern Lights plans to increase its storage capacity. They have already signaled their ambitions for a second phase and hopes to make an investment decision during 2022 or early 2023. More storage is needed so capture sites can make investment decisions, and the Norwegian continental shelf is well suited for CO2 storage. Norway wants to provide attractive storage areas to companies that provide solutions on a commercial basis to industrial customers. There is increased commercial interest for CO2 storage. New acreage in the North Sea and Barents Sea was announced last year. The award in the North Sea was recently offered to Equinor ASA, whilst the permit in the Barents Sea has been offered to a group including Equinor, Horisont Energi, and Vår Energi, who aims to produce blue hydrogen and blue ammonia for international exports. The Norwegian Ministry of Petroleum and Energy has announced new areas for CO2 storage in the North Sea. The announcement comes due to interest from the industry and is in accordance with CO2 storage regulations. So, to be on the SS Rotterdam today is a nice symbol of the maritime history our two countries share. The North Sea continues to provide vast opportunities, including in the clean energy transition. The Norwegian government also has strong ambitions in developing hydrogen and offshore winds in the years ahead, building on offshore experience and expertise acquired through the oil and gas sector and maritime activities. CCS is very much part of the solution to climate change, both by cutting emissions and in facilitating clean hydrogen development. It is also an important way to ensure just transition to the net zero society we all want. It can cut emissions while safeguarding and creating new industrial jobs. So I'm very much looking forward to the conference, and good luck with your conference. Thanks for your attention.